This is Betty Traciak with the Split Coast Stampers guest tutorial for a simple and unique slatted basket. Here are a couple different examples of ones that I've made using different paper and decorating with different ideas. To make this, the supplies that you will need are double-sided paper that is 12 by 12, 6 1-inch by 11-inch strips of paper that have been scored 3.5 inches from each end. So 3.5 inches from this end, 3.5 inches from this end. For the handle, a 1 3/4 by 12-inch strip of paper and an optional piece of paper to cover the bottom, which is 4 by 4 inches. Begin by scoring the 12 by 12 piece of paper at 3/4 of an inch, 4 inches, 8 inches, and 11 1/4 inch. Rotate the paper 1/4 turn and repeat those same scoring marks at 3/4, 4 inches, 8 inches, and 11 1/4 inches. Next, you need to do some cutting. Cutting on the score lines, you need to cut away each rectangle from the corner, each of the 4 corners, and also cut on the vertical score lines up to the cross score line on each of these. And then I also trim the tabs at an angle. Once everything is cut, taking a bone folder, fold on each of the score lines. Flip it over and turn each of these center pieces back on itself. Next, you'll need to use a strong adhesive for each of the tabs. This is the prepared basket base, which has been cut, folded on all of the score lines, and had adhesive applied to the tabs and under each flap. I also, off camera, put adhesive on each of the pieces that are to be used for the slats on each end and on the basket handle on each end. To assemble the basket, fold on the score lines. As you're assembling the basket, make sure that each side lines up. And the inner portion is not as necessary to be as careful about that, but these side pieces here, you need to be fairly accurate in lining those up. Next, flip the basket over and take each of the slatted pieces, fold them slightly on the score line, and apply adhesive to the center. Use the score lines as a guide to help you in lining up the slats on the bottom of the basket. This piece goes in the center. It's just aligned evenly. Then just give that a little press to make sure that those are firmly in place. Turn it a quarter of a turn and repeat with the other three pieces. Next, remove the adhesive from each of the three strips at the side. And place this just underneath the fold along the edge. Now, I tend to watch to see whether or not these have the same angle to them. And this is the time where if this one is a little bit lower, you can adjust that right now by moving that down just ever so slightly so that you get the same arc to each of those. Repeat on each side. Next, remove the adhesive under each of the flaps. And adhere that securely. final step is to add the handle. And decorate as desired. A final optional step is to cover the bottom of the basket with the 4x4 piece of designer series paper or double-sided paper to give a finished look to the bottom of the basket. Thanks so much. I hope you have fun making these.